Okay, well, hello everyone. Today, like 2 weeks ago, we are joined by Dr. Gabriel Gasque, who is the head of outreach at protocols.io. And if you remember last time, he went over showing us what protocols.io is and what it's used for and all the features that it has. And this week, the focus will be on how to actually use it and to get you familiarized with the platform so that all the group leads can then upload their imaging protocols to protocols.io once SWiM is actually this week. So yeah, thank you very much again for your time. And whenever you're ready, then you can start.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marina. Thank you all of you for coming to this presentation. Marina is recording the presentation, so you can watch it later on. You can also start typing any question that you might have in the chat or in the Q&A windows, and we will get to those questions at the end of the presentation. And I'm going to be presenting a lot of information, and I don't expect you to memorize everything. So you will have the recording, but also at the bottom of this slide, you can see two URLs. So the first one will take you to the list of all the webinars that we schedule regularly. And these webinars are open to all. Once a month, we have a webinar that targets the European, Middle East, Africa region. So check that one and feel free to sign up to attend if you want to. And then the bottommost URL will take you to a web page where you can request a one-to-one demo. We have people working on the Africa time zones, so also you can request a demo and you can ask one of our team members any question that you might have about the platform in an interactive way. So you can share your screen, they can share their screen, and that's the bottommost URL. So 2 weeks ago, as Marina mentioned, we discussed the what is protocols.io and why using protocols.io is important. So just as a refresher, protocols.io is a virtual platform to collaboratively develop protocols that are dynamic, interactive, versionable, detailed, and reusable. And it is also an open access repository for you to publish those detailed protocols. Every detailed protocol that is published or every protocol that is published receives a DOI, and they are all open access. So that means that they are fully searchable and free to read, use, and reuse. And because they receive a DOI, they can be cited by your colleagues, but also you can include those in your manuscripts. And we talked about these last time a little bit. Why it's important to use protocols.io? The collaborative platform supports collaborations, and publishing these protocols increases discoverability of your methods, as well as reproducibility of your research outputs. Because the protocols are forkable, it enables reuse, it allows credit and recognition for method development because you will be publishing protocols with DOIs. Protocols allows you versioning, so you can keep track of evolution of your own protocols. By reporting detailed methods, you will be improving the materials and method sections of your papers, and we showed some examples last time. It also allows a stewardship of research outputs, and there's a detailed method documentation and preservation. So that's a recap of what we saw 2 weeks ago. In this session, we're going to talk about how to use. So briefly, we're going to start with searching protocols. Then we're going to create a fork. We're going to create a protocol de novo. we're going to import an existing protocol that you might already have as a Word document or as a PDF. We're going to run a protocol. We're going to create a workspace, invite members to that workspace, and then we're going to be sharing protocols beyond that workspace. We went over some of these points very briefly on the previous section, but we're going to go a little bit deeper this time. So I'm going to start with the file manager, and actually let's open the homepage. So when you come to the platform, what you see on the screen is a landing page. I'm already signed in. That's why you see my picture here in the corner. Otherwise, there will be two buttons, one that says sign up and the other one that says sign in. So if you have an account, go ahead and sign in. If not, go ahead and create an account. But what I want to show you now is how the search engine works. So you don't have to log in to search for protocols. So you can type, I'm going to type DTI. And then once I retrieve the protocols that will be searched with DTI, they will be presented in my account because I'm already signed in. But even if you are not signed in, you will see all the list of the protocols, and you can read those protocols without having an account. So I'm going to search for DTI, and the protocols are given to me from my account. So I'm already logged in, and these are all the protocols that have DTI as a keyword. And you can see here, I don't know if it's too small for you to read, but I'm going to make it bigger. You can see here that in this case, the keyword DTI appears in the title, right? In other cases, it might appear in the abstract, but in all these cases, the keyword appears in the title. You can also do Boolean searches. So you can search for DTI or diffusion. So the search is gonna retrieve all the protocols that have either one or the other keyword. Right? In this case, you see that the keyword has appeared in the abstract, not in the title. So not all of these protocols might work for you because they're not necessarily imaging, but they had either DTI or diffusion. In this case, the abstract, right? Or in this case, the abstract and the title. So you can do Boolean searches. You can also search for DTI and diffusion. In this case, the protocol anywhere needs to have both words, DTI and diffusion. And the first hit here is creating diffusion tensor images. Right? As I mentioned before, these protocols are open access, so anyone can click the protocol and have access to the protocol. If you want to do a Boolean search, the and or need to go in capital letters. You can also search for strings. So you can do DTI pre-processing. And in this case, it's not going to search directly for the string as is. It's going to search for either or the two words. So DTI and processing. Right? And here, the words appear in the title. But if you want to do an exact search, then you have to use quotation marks. If you use quotation marks, then the protocol needs to have the exact string, DTI pre-processing. So if I search, so I get only one protocol that has DTI pre-processing, in this case, in the title. As I mentioned before, the protocols are open access, so anyone can search for them and read them, even if you are not signed in. So the next step is that if you think this protocol is useful to you, but you want to modify it slightly, you can create an editable fork. By creating a fork, you will be copying all the information of this protocol, making it your own privately. So every protocol has two buttons, one that says run, and we're going to get to that button later on in the presentation, but it has another one that says copy and fork. So I'm going to make my own copy of this DTI pre-processing protocol. I'm going to make a fork. I'm going to select in what folder to store it. So I created a folder for this specific training. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back to my file manager. So now what you see is my account. Just again, a refresher of last time. Every time, like when you open an account, you immediately have to create a workspace, but you can keep creating workspaces, and we're going to get to that in later on. But these are the workspaces to which I belong. Each workspace has a folder that will contain subfolders and all the protocols created in that workspace. The workspace are the collaborative units in which you are going to be working. So you can create a workspace for your, for your internal team. You can create a workspace for external collaborators and so on. But we're going to be working from my own private workspace. As I mentioned before, each workspace has a folder, and then you can create subfolders to organize all your protocols. In this case, I have many folders and some loose protocols. This is the sub protocol that I created for this training. And you can see that this is the fork that I created from the public protocol with DTI pre-processing as keywords. Now, it has an indication that this is a fork, that it was copied from an original existing protocol. I can open my protocol. And now I can start changing whatever I need to change to make this protocol work for me. So I can go to step 1 and add text. You can add tables to your protocol. You can add hyperlinks. You can add images. So I have a picture here of a brain, and the amygdala is highlighted. Here's the image. You can add a figure legend. So you can start changing that protocol that already existed. Now, in this case, I started from an existing public protocol, but you can also fork your own private protocols. Now, and if I go, so this is the editor. This is where I can change my protocol. If I click view, I'm going to go to the viewer. So I will see how my protocol looks like. So this is my own fork of a protocol created by somebody else. And I can see that I can get to the original protocol by following this link as well. So this is the original protocol, the one that we found doing the search. And this is my fork, which I have edited, and I have added some text, the table, and the image. So I will stop for a few seconds for you to digest, think about questions. If you want to start typing those on the chat. And the next topic is, well, what if I already have, I don't want to use any of the public protocols. I have my own protocols written already as a Word document or as a PDF. So how you can bring those protocols into the platform. So let me, I'm gonna close these tabs. This is the fork. And now here you can see my hard drive, where I had the picture of the amygdala. And I have a list of existing protocols in different format, right? I have a PDF, I have a Word document, I have an Apple Pages, a text file. These are not imaging protocols, but you can. This applies for it can be any kind of protocol that is described in a step-by-step fashion. This is a wet lab protocol. Has a title, has an abstract, and has sections that are with several steps, each of them. So if you create a workspace, and we will get to creating workspace later on, but if you have a workspace and you want your team to have access to all your protocols that already exist, the easy way for you to centralize your existing protocols and share them with the members of your workspace is just to take the protocols and drag them to your folder. So you can see I have brought those protocols to my folder. Now all the members of my workspace can have access to those documents. I can also share those documents beyond my workspace. I can select any of these protocols and share them beyond my workspace by typing their email address of my colleague with whom I want to share the protocol. And then they will receive an email and have access to that specific document, not to the rest of the documents in my workspace. However, these protocols are not publishable, or these documents are not publishable because they are not protocols created with the editor. To do that, if you want to publish any of these protocols without any modification, what you have to do is you have to create an empty protocol with the editor, and then you can attach any of these documents to that empty protocol. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go to the editor by following the new button. I'm going to create a new protocol, which I'm going to save in this folder. We're going to call this protocol SWiM Demo 2. I'm just going to add today's date. And then traditionally, the way that protocols are written, de novo, is just adding steps, right? So you can start, let's say, with a new section that says preparation. And then you do this, a new step, do that. Then I can create a new section, real experiment. And again, you can insert images, you can insert hyperlinks, you can insert tables, you can insert formulas. Step 3, you can add a new step. But I mentioned, right? This is how you write protocols de novo. But if you have an existing protocol, what you can do is attach that document in the description tab of the editor. If you scroll all the way down, there is a space for you to attach a document. So I can take my protocol, the PDF one, just drag it here. Now the protocol has been included as an attachment. If you think that you want to publish this protocol eventually, it is good to add an abstract, because abstract will increase discoverability. So you can type your abstract here. And then now if I go to the viewer, I will see that there is a title, there is the abstract, and the protocol is attached as a PDF. Now, because this was a protocol created with the editor, even if it didn't have steps, you can publish it and get a DOI and cite that protocol in your paper. However, because if you didn't add steps to the protocol won't be interactive, as I show you with that DTI example. So I'm going to go to the file manager. Just going to reload it. And you can see that now we have the fork that we created from the DTI protocol. We have all the documents that I just exported as they were. And I have a new protocol that contains my protocol in PDF format as an attachment. But what if I want to actually make an interactive protocol, dynamic interactive, out of my existing documents? So let's go back to the editor, which is what we're seeing now on the screen. I'm going to delete these steps just to start fresh. So now I have an empty protocol. Again, you can start adding steps, but if you have a protocol in a Word document or in a text file, it doesn't work for PDF. So you have to start with a Word document or a text file. Again, this is the protocol, sections, steps. You can import those steps directly from your Word document without the need of you manually retyping them. I can copy the steps that I want to import. I'm going to copy them. I go back to the editor, and there is a menu here, a function here that says insert steps from text. I can click it. This window will open. I paste the steps that I had copied. Now, in this case, each number is a different step. That's what I select. Each number is a step. I preview them, and now the steps in the Word document have been transformed into the steps in the editor. Now you can see the protocol. I can copy the title of the section, paste it here. I can create a new section, go to the next section, copy the title. I create a new section. I take the steps of that section. I insert the steps from text. And I have two sections with the steps. I can delete this empty step. So I have created now this dynamic interactive protocol from an existing Word document. This is the editor, but if I click the view, I'm going to go to the viewer. I see that the protocol has the attachment that I added originally, and now it has the steps. The advantage of having the steps is that it accepts comments. So let's say that you want to share this protocol either with the members of the workspace or beyond the workspace with the share functionality. Your colleagues can come and add a comment, like, I don't understand, or I'm having trouble understanding or performing these steps. They can post a comment and you will be notified, right? You can also run these step-by-step protocols directly from the computer or tablet. So if you have a protocol that you could follow while preparing a subject for imaging, and you want to check every step to make sure that everything was done, there is a run button. So the run button allows you to follow the steps as you perform the experiment or imaging. You can mark each step as done as you move through the experiment. You can tweak a step as you go, and that will not change the original protocol. It will only change this specific run. Or you can add a comment. You know, I made a mistake while running. You post your comment. You see the comment here, right? You keep running your experiment. And then once you're done, you can save the run as an independent file. So you can add a timestamp. We're going to save it in the folder that I created for this demo. Run 1. Save. Now, if I go back to my file manager, I will see that I created a run. The symbol is green. And if I open the run, I will have the information of when I did this experiment, when I did this imaging. There is a tab with the comments that I added. And again, all the members of your workspace will have access to this run. And you can also share it beyond the workspace, as I showed you before for the PDF document. You can also share a you can also run a protocol collaboratively or in multiple days. Again, I'm going to open this protocol, the one that we just created. I'm going to close these tabs. And let's say that I'm going to do section 1 in one day and section 2 in the following day. It's a long experiment. So I can run it. So I have to go and view, run. And I start performing my workflow. I finish at step 7, and I'm going to pause here. Because I need, the patients are going to come back tomorrow. The participants are going to come back tomorrow. Now, I save the run. I don't add the timestamp. I just save the run. This is run 2 in 2 days. I save it. And now I can see in the file manager that there is a partial run. So this is a completed run, and this is a partial run. I can come tomorrow and resume the run and just finish the steps that I needed. But if I want somebody else to do that for me, another member of my team, or if I'm sick or I need to take vacation, I can ask a member of the team to finalize the experiment for me. From the run record, in these 3 buttons, I select them, and then I can share this partial run with one of my colleagues. I add my collaborator. I have to grant this collaborator editing privileges so they can come and finalize and make changes to the run. I save the record, and now my collaborator has been added to this experiment run. If I were the one with whom I was shared that experiment, I can select it, resume it, finish the steps that I need to finish, and then finish the run. And now the run has been finalized. So you can run any protocol that has steps. You can do it all yourself. You can do it in multiple days, and you can do it with collaborators as well. Now, how you bring colleagues to your workspace so they have access to all that you have created in this workspace. If you have your own personal workspace, you will be the administrator. If you want to create a new Teams workspace, there is a button here that says create a new workspace, and you click it, and then you can create a new workspace, adding a name to the workspace. But if you already have a workspace and you just want to invite collaborators, you open the administration menu, you select administration, members, and now you can start inviting members by typing their email address. If they have an account, they will be able to immediately join. Otherwise, they will have to create an account before they can join. You can also copy this link, and then you can share that link via Slack or via email, and that link will allow any of your colleagues to directly join your workspace. So either you can type their email address or you can send them this link. Once they are invited, you'll see here there are two tabs. These are the members who have confirmed their membership. This is me, and this is my collaborator who has agreed to join my workspace. And there is one who has been invited, but they haven't agreed yet. So I can resend the invitation, I can cancel the invitation. Now, you can also customize the permissions that you will give to the members of your workspace with the protocols, documents, runs that you are saving in this workspace and sharing with them. For example, you might not want that other members are able to publish those protocols. So again, you open your workspace, you open the administration, you select file access setting, and then you say, I will not allow people to publish my protocols, so they can only view them. Or you can say they can view and edit my protocols, but they cannot publish. Or they can do anything. They can view, edit, and publish. You can grant them permission to run protocols, or you can block them from running protocols, and so on. So you can really tailor what your colleagues in that workspace can do with those documents. You can make any member a co-administrator, so they will have access to the administration menu and change those rules, or you can transfer the ownership of that workspace to somebody else. Let's say that somebody created a workspace but is leaving the project, is leaving the team, so you can transfer ownership of that workspace to somebody else in the team. I'm going to pause for a moment so you digest and you think about some questions about how to create protocols and create workspaces. And you can start typing those questions in the chat. Okay, so whenever you create a workspace, it starts privately. Whenever you create a protocol, it starts privately. To make a protocol public, you have to publish it. So if I go to the folder of my workspace, you might remember that we have created a bunch of protocols, 2 protocols that are private. If I want to make it public, I have to select the protocol and publish it. And then I have to follow a very easy 6-step workflow to make the protocol public. We are not a journal. We don't peer review the protocols. So you will immediately make your protocol public. Once the protocol is published, it cannot be edited anymore. However, you can always create a new version of that public protocol, and the versions will lay on top of each other. So if you need to make a correction to a protocol, if you need to make an improvement to a protocol that has already been published, you will have to make a new version. You can also version private protocols. So you select the protocol and then you create a new version. And again, the new versions will be linked and they will sit on top of each other. You can also make your workspace public, meaning that the workspace will be searchable. My own private workspace is private. So if I go to settings, I open my workspace, select settings. In security and privacy, I see that my own personal workspace is private. Nobody can search it. However, I can make it public, meaning that anyone can search and see only its public content. They will never see, even if my workspace is public, my private documents will always be private. They will only see the members and the public documents associated with my workspace. So if I search for, let's say, COVID, these are the papers that are related to COVID, but I can also search for workspaces, public workspaces that have COVID as a keyword. I'm going to search for number of publications, and I can see that there are many public workspaces that have COVID as a keyword and are public. If I click any of these workspaces, this is what I see. I see the publications associated with that workspace. I see the members of that workspace, and I can request to join. If I'm approved and I join, then I will have access to all their private content as well. I can do the same for imaging. So I'm going to search for imaging. And then I can search for workspaces. And these are all the public workspaces that have imaging as a keyword. If I select any of these workspaces, again, I don't have access to their private content, even if the workspace is public, but I can see the publications of that workspace and the members. And I can request to join. And the final thing that I want to show before opening the floor for questions is, so we have talked about forking existing protocols, either public or private, creating protocols de novo by typing the steps, or importing existing protocols that I already had as PDF or Word format. We've talked about bringing colleagues to my workspace so I can share all these documents immediately with them. We have talked about restricting what the permissions of what these colleagues can do with these documents. We have talked about making my workspace public. And we have talked about sharing protocols beyond my workspace with the share functionality. Right? One thing that you can also do, you can get what we call a reviewer link. So once you decide to share your protocol, you select the protocol, you select share, you can get a reviewer link. This link can be shared. You can add it to a manuscript. You can share it via Slack or email. And whoever has this link will have access to your protocol in a view-only mode. They will be able to edit it. They will be able to add comments. But this is what we call a reviewer link. It's a private link that you can share in a paper if you don't want to make your protocol public before paper acceptance. Or if you just want to collect feedback from somebody without inviting those colleagues to your workspace. So again, you select the protocol, you select share, and you get a private link. And then I can send this via a messaging system or email or a document. So I know I have presented a lot of information, and it will take time for you probably to digest. The recording will be made available. And if you have any questions, I will be happy to take any of those. We have 14 minutes left.
Hi, Gabriel.
Hello.
Yeah, good. Is it possible, possibly we export a protocol from, say, Siemens or GE machine and GMRI system and import it into protocol.io directly?
Yes, you can do that. Like if you have the protocol as a PDF, you will have either to type it, you can attach it, but it's doable. Actually, we might have, let me see. No, let me see. I don't think that we have any protocol of an MRI machine, but we have protocols that that might have, for microscope as an equipment. So yes, the answer is you can bring into protocols.io the manual of an MRI equipment.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because majority of us here are techs and we are working directly with MRI system. It would be great if we can directly export and import these protocols in PDF from our systems down into the protocol.io. And it is going to really help us to share this with those who are really in need of these protocols in different locations.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, the only caveat is that you might have to type the protocol yourself. If you have the protocol in a Word format, I show you that you can import the steps semi-automatically by copying them and paste them into the insert steps from text function. But if the protocol is a PDF, you might need to retype it. That's the only caveat.
All right.
Once it is in protocols.io, you can publish it, and then you can send it to anyone who might need to use it, and then it will be in the dynamic and interactive format where they can run the protocol, they can add comments, or they can even fork it and make modifications that they need.
Okay, another one for you, sorry. So in case we are creating our protocols, and we run into some difficulties, is there a chat bot that we can use to help us resolve some of these difficulties we might get into?
So your question is like you are developing a protocol and you hit a roadblock and you don't know how to do something that you're having. Yes. So you can always email me. My information is here. I'm gonna type it in the chat. So that's one way. You can always email me and I will be happy to help. But a second, there are a few options. So if you're looking at your account right now in protocols.io and you scroll all the way down, there is a help button. So you can send a message. You can even upload a file. So you can take a screenshot and upload the file of your problem. And in the initial slide, I show you that there is a bottom. There is a URL for a one-to-one demo. So you can book a demo with a team member and say, I would like to discuss with you because I'm having a trouble in this step. I don't know how to do this, or I would like your feedback on I would like to do something like this. So there are many options for you to get help. Email me directly, use the help functionality, or request a one-to-one demo.
Perfect. Thank you so much.